it's like a combination of all the cool shit, man. Like,
something crazy happened today, and we needed to talk about it.
Yeah.
If you watch Comically Gaming,
to post reaction videos, but
correct. In this case, though, we're making an exception. We're super Witcher fans, super CD Projeck Red fans, and they dropped out of nowhere a stream today, which I don't know if you guys knew this. What they showed today is what they played behind closed doors at E3.
yeah, that's what I read. That's what I read.
Yeah, it's the same thing. But finally, we all got to see it. So I don't know. Initial reactions. What do you guys think?
It was fucking amazing, dude. I was watching it, and at first I was like, "Oh, it's just gonna be another gameplay video of just a beta." And then started watching. I'm like, "Wow, this is fleshed out."
it's funny. It looks like a combination between like Fallout and, in a way, but Borderlands shooting, but story of an actual, like, it looks like a combination of all the awesome things, like with the choices of like a BioWare game, but like a shooting of Borderlands and loot and you know, it just, and great awesome graphics with the open world. It looks amazing, and it looks nothing like The Witcher. Like, I can't at all even draw any comparisons to The Witcher, really, besides the fact that it's open world, but it looks fucking awesome.
I think the art style is different than The Witcher. I mean, completely different.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that the only comparison that I would draw to The Witcher is that kind of anything can happen feeling to those missions, right? Like that what they did in that mission and that demo, and how they decided to work with the corporate people, and how that changed what happened, and that. You know what I mean? That's like what the Witcher mission structure, like their structure. Right. They're not afraid to have you miss huge portions of the shit that they built for you to carve your own kind of narrative through the story, right?
Yeah, you could take a bounty and let the creature live, and it can destroy the town that hired you, or you can not, and and that's still there, obviously. But everything else just looks totally different.
Well, I mean, usually game developers. Usually game developers, though, this is a weird thing what I was getting at, is you can tell a Square Enix game. You can tell a Square Enix, just you can tell. You can tell a BioWare game, just how it looks. And this didn't look at all like The Witcher. And if you didn't know it was CD Projekt Red, you'd be like, wow, who built this game? Because I've never seen something like this. Like Corey said, it combined a lot of different games, pieces of it, the mechanics, to make one big game.
The game that we've all wanted. An awesome first-person shooter, open world with loot and an awesome story. I mean, it's like the dream game. It seems like, it's hard to. And the thing is, it's CD Projekt Red, so you gotta imagine it's gonna be like.
It's funny, it's funny. Like, you're totally right. As cheesy as that sounds, you're totally right.
It's.
I mean, the whole immersion. I remember Nate. He was talking. When we were doing 116, so not that long ago, yesterday. And, from the screenshots, you were right. It didn't look... the screenshots look really pretty. And it gave you that sci-fi feel. But watching that, I started seeing... It reminded me a lot of some of the Blade Runner stuff you see in Blade Runner and 2049.
I agree.
But also... When they were walking out in that apartment, when you leave her apartment, I started thinking of that last Judge Dredd that they made.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That is exactly it, Jeff. I thought that for sure. Yeah, that building could have been the Mega City building that Dredd took place in. Yeah, I agree with you. It mixed in so many cool influences. I thought there were spots that were, like you say, totally Blade Runner. Yeah. If somebody on that crew didn't watch Dredd and take inspiration for her apartment, then I'll be amazed, right? Like, it just has to be the case, Yeah.
And
cool.
Red Faction with the destructive environments.
Yeah, it seemed like everything was destructible.
Yeah, it seemed like everything in that entire open world was... even when he shot the car that was up on the lift, it made it drop down, and you could shoot through the walls, and it seemed like everything that you shot was affected by it. It wasn't just... They weren't just reflecting bullets, and so... It
which is funny.
so
When this
good.
was shown
I mean,
to everybody in E3, I never heard anybody talk about that.
No, they
That
had
was
to
like
sign an
new
NDA.
to me. And yeah, that was cool. That was great.
Yeah.
I really liked.
yeah, the big gun at the beginning when he's shooting everybody
Oh,
through
yeah.
the wall,
Yep.
and then the car dropping down and just standing behind post and watching them get exploded, and just you could tell the whole environment. If it's
Yeah,
a
the
material that can be destroyed, it'll get
or
destroyed.
manipulated in some way, right? Like
Yeah.
when he picks up the car and holds it as a shield in that final
That
fight.
was cool.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like you could probably do that with anything. It's just the car was enough to actually, shield him.
Yeah.
Well, and
yeah.
she was hiding behind that pillar, and she was shooting, and she went behind the pillar, and you could see it just break up, kind of Matrix style.
Yep.
What I like is
Yeah.
how it reminded me of a little bit of Deus Ex,
Sure.
one of the original Deus Ex games, where you could go in front door or you could go explore and find alternate ways in, and then they showed you some of the cool shit at the end with the spider legs and shit. I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah, when she had the blades in her arms that would stick to the wall, and then she disabled the one dude's. So the way that she disabled that guy to where he couldn't communicate with his weapon anymore was pretty cool. I was wondering how they were going to work the whole Netrunner thing into it, especially after I bought the book for the RPG and was reading through that. Like the Netrunner character was basically written before the internet as we know it.
Yeah.
And so it's a little rough around the edges, right? And I had wondered how they would use that in this game, but it seemed cool. And it also seemed like, I can tell you, you know how it broke out like the dude's mind into data blocks?
Yeah.
Right? Yep. That's what happens in the RPG is you actually do puzzles with blocks to navigate the net if you're a Netrunner.
That's cool.
And there's other people they're like dungeons, right? There's other people that are in there with you who can try and fuck you up while you're doing it and stuff.
Wow.
So really cool. I'm really stoked to see how far they take that,
Well,
Yeah.
I hope they make the UI, the whole, your HUD, your HUD was really minimal in that game, where it would just pop up, and then just the amount of implants that you could get and specialize.
So
Yeah, and the way you brought up, Jeff, the slowing down of time, we didn't really talk about that. Like that
bullet
was
time, kind of
bullet
Max
time.
Payne.
Yeah, it's like a combination of all the
game.
cool shit, man. Like, it's put into.
Well, and I really like how both of those things that you guys just talked about, how they build it in. So like the HUD, when she upgraded her arm and gave it like gun grip, that's when she could see her ammo clip.
Yeah.
Like previous to that, she was just firing the whole time.
And
and
that's
then
the most badass pistol I've ever seen.
yeah, right, right. But yeah, it's just cool that they take those video gamey things like the slow motion, which like you think about that in Max Payne, they never even explain that. It's just that Max Payne can go into slow motion, right?
Yeah.
In this game, it's like that's the drugs that she's taken, right?
Yeah.
And in this, all the cybernetic stuff is the reason that the HUD looks the way it does. That's the way things look to her. So it's I really like it. Makes it more immersive, right? Like all that stuff is built into it. Everything that you see,
Right.
Well,
You could tell they took their time.
Sure.
And I think they took some stuff from RoboCop in that movie, or in that game. When they go into the maelstrom and they have that guy in the chair and then they sit down, it kind of reminded me of seeing out of RoboCop.
Them negotiating
with drugs and negotiating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm really blown away. So I do have to say, like, okay, as we've been talking, like my kind of gripe about Cyberpunk in general, like I'm more of a high fantasy dude, so The Witcher appeals more to me on the base level than a kind of background in history like Cyberpunk. And I still think, to some degree, even after watching that video, like I'm more stoked for the setting of Red Dead, right? Or I'm more stoked for like the setting of Fallout than I am for that Cyberpunk feel.
Okay.
But I just feel like it was, after watching this video, I don't care about that anymore, because obviously that city is so well made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then all the other gameplay stuff that they do will come in, The only other thing that I think that I really wanted to talk about that we didn't was the driving. Driving
It
looked
really
good
Yeah.
as well.
It looked clean. It looked
like
responsive.
GTA.
It did.
You think?
Yeah.
A little bit.
I mean,
I think the car looked wasn't controlling it, but it seemed like it wasn't that shitty car game in an action RPG where they just sort of threw driving, kind of like driving a Warthog on Halo, which really sucks.
Sure.
Yeah. GTA driving's not bad.
No,
Once
it's
you get
not
it
bad.
down, you can cruise around the city pretty fast. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It looked good, but it didn't look like you were in Forza Horizon when you were driving the car,
They're
which
not
would have
going
been
for
the other thing that they could have added to, you know.
Yeah, right. I'm with you.
But,
What is bad in GTA though is the shooting, right? And this seems like the best combat in a GTA type open world game that I've ever seen, right?
Yeah.
If they pull that off.
Well, because it
Sure.
looked like they're using Borderlands, which had a better shooting.
yeah, looked like Borderlands shooting. That's exactly
It
what I saw.
didn't look like she had the auto lock where you just R1 or L2 and
that gun at the end, that heat-seeking
the
machine gun.
Oh yeah, the smart gun.
Oh, dude, that's so dope. That's so
and
dope.
then when she
You
was
can
doing those
ricochet.
moves where he was shooting the laser over her head that she was sliding under and then getting him in the back and the weak spot of that suit and stuff, like
That was sick.
it just looked great. Yeah,
That's like,
really cool.
Well, and I like the ricochet where you could bounce bullets off the wall.
Yeah.
Yep, it was awesome. That actually looked like it fixed Ricochet. Like I hate Ricochet bullets in any other game because you have no idea where they're going.
Yeah, it's
right?
just
With this, like she's actually lining it up like playing pool or something.
Right.
Yeah. So
You know?
I'm excited to play this game. It's like now I'm like, okay, when's the release date? And there's no release date.
Oh.
Yep.
So it's like,
I
oh,
bet
it'll be
it's
2 years from now.
Christmas, at least Christmas of next year.
yeah, Christmas 19. Probably November 19.
That's my guess.
I'm guessing March 20. So I feel like this game and Last of Us 2 are going to be like the last great season for the PS4.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
it'll be PS5 the year after those two games come out. I bet you any other games of like this scale will not be for this console generation. That's my guess, anyways. It might be like March 20, and then like that 20 holiday season is the PS5.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will
Xbox,
be
whatever.
the culmination of PS4.
Yeah.
Games that developers have spent 8 years or whatever making.
Right.
And they're going to be the final games that come out and
And they'll both be fucking awesome.
yeah, amazing.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for joining me for this special report, fellas.
No problem.